Abinu, Sheba Shemayim, Yikadesh Shimka, Tabo Maluka, Yeye Razanka, King Bares, Himo Beshamayim, Chen Lanu Hayim, the King Chukienu, Yusaluk Lanu All, Chovichienu, Kashir So King Anuku, Lopavini Lanu, Vil Chivino, Liada, near son, Ki is out Zenu, Mi Hara, Viha Gavar, Viha Chafar, Hilaka, Hamalaka, Elolimi, Olami. Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread and forgive us our debt, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the esteem forever. Shalom, y'all. Today we'll be talking about in the multitude of counselors is deliverance in Yahuwah. And I say that because I don't really want to focus so much on worldly counsel, not against it. I know some people have to have it at times, but I'm not talking about, this isn't about that. This is talking about in the multitude of counsels, those that are actually walking with you with the same mindset, those that are actually walking with the Most High, and those that have the counsel of the Most High. So we'll be dealing with that from an aspect of knowing that you need that to succeed, knowing that you need some form of leadership to succeed. You need some form of accountability, somebody that you can actually get with and actually have, that you can actually say, okay, this is who we'll be dealing with as a whole. I mean, this is who we'll be dealing with. We'll talk about accountability, the buddy system, and prophetic insights. And we'll also talk about just basically the concept of just having counselors in the, in your midst, people that you can actually have that you can look to on a regular basis. And so in the multitude of counselors, there's deliverance in Yahuwah. We'll be dealing with a few words.
So the root word itza means counsel or advice, and it comes from the root word ya'atz, which means counselor or advisor.
Okay.
The Greek characters for etza is ayin, zadi, and hey. The numerical value for ayin is 70, and it means eye, wisdom, and perception. The numerical value for zadi is 90, and it means to strive for righteousness. The numerical value for hey is 5. It means divine revelation, grace, mercy, and also represents creative power. And for Ya'atz, its Greek characters are Yod, Wa, Ayin, and Zadi Sophie. The numerical value for Yod is 10, and it means spark of creation and where action takes place.
Mm-hmm.
The numerical value for Wa is 6, and means secure, it connects, and is symbolic of conjunction. The numerical value of Ayin is 70, and it means eye, wisdom, and perception. And the numerical value for Zadi Sophie is 90, and it means striving for righteousness. So from what I gather, Etza means seeing with wisdom and walking in righteousness, and Ya'atz means wisdom and righteousness put into action.
Okay.
There means shelter, like secret place, hiding place, and cover, like a covering. And it's made of the 3 of the letters Samic, Tau, and Resh. And Samic's numerical value is 60. And it means like that was like surrounds and like protects something, or just like in general. And then Tau's numerical value is 400. And it means like intense judgment, like, or like severe judgment. I think that's interchangeable. But it means like marker, signet, covenant, like a sign. And then Resh numerical value is 200. And it means like the head.
My word is hokmah, and it means wisdom, and it is derived from the Hebrew verb hachem, which means to be wise. And hokmah can also be used when calling someone skillful. Hokmah is made of the Greek characters Kate, Kuf, Mem, and Hey. Kate, the numerical value is 8, which means the metaphysical things that are beyond what we understand in our realm, or things of the Ruach in the spiritual realm. And it's things that are basically supernatural, things that we can't explain. Kuf is numerical value is 100, and it means reflecting an image. And Kuf is the first letter in the first letter in Kodesh, which means holy. So basically, it means to reflect holiness.
That's good.
Mem is numerical value is 40, and it means life and intense judgment. And Hey is 5, and it's divine revelation.
We're going to go to Proverbs 11 and 14. So Proverbs 11:14 is basically, has, part of the title in it. You know, we're dealing with the multitude of counselors. But deliverance in Yahuwah, so it separates it from worldly counsel. There's nothing against it, but this isn't about that. This is about, those that actually iron sharpens iron, those that actually with precious like, ruachs. And, sometimes, you know, you're dealing with ones that do not have pressure like ruachs. The device can be faulty sometimes. And it's difficult because I understand the world pushes us to, any help is better than none, but that's not the most highest way. It's just that sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. But based on this is straight up about, dealing with the actual, because you're not gonna get no deliverance from the world. That's the thing. So this is based on deliverance, but just information, it can come from anywhere. Just for it's like, you know, buying a house, whatever the case may be, when it comes to getting down to the deeper things, and it has to be discernment with a Torah base, we're gonna have to be those with pressure like mine. So we get into, Proverbs 11:14, which is part of the title.
Mishlei 11-14, where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety.
And that's the thing. And when it's saying that, you know, don't get me wrong, I understand that, you know, it's read like this from other religious sects, like when you see, counselors, but it's not talking about anytime you're reading the prophets, you're reading Proverbs, you're reading, Torah, it's always talking about something that's connected to Yahuwah. It's not talking about just random. Like if it doesn't specify exactly who, you know that we're dealing with this from a mindset of Torah. Like this whole thing, when you're reading it, you have to read this and deal with it from the ruach of dealing with Torah, not from the ruach of dealing with things, that are worldly. So when you look at this here, it's saying right here, if you don't have none at all, the people fall. But in the multitude, there's safety. But that's just not normal. There's not safety in just a normal multitude of people. Like, I mean, like we understand that you can have a bunch of people that is giving information, but it can be faulty because it's going to venture off at some point when it's time to lock it down. Because once you start bringing out Torah and things of that nature, then people start going in different directions. That's the thing. So it's one foundation. That's why even when you look at, Torah, when those that actually attach themselves to the Yahudim, is one law for all, one law for the stranger, and one law for Yasharah. It's not separate things. They're not supposed to put them to work. Neither they supposed to work on Shabbat or HaShabbats. It's all together in one. And so when you're dealing with this right here, it's good to know that you can't actually do it by yourself. Like you got to have somebody around that can actually, that'll know more, or someone that actually walked the walk out. Like if you're seeking out anything, it got to be somebody that's been successful in walking the walk out. I understand a lot of times we see these scripts that, we'll hear people say, you know, just do as I say, don't do as I do. But those are not good examples. If we're saying that we're functional like Hebrew is, then we're functional people, then we're following people that are functioning and acting out what it is that we desire to see, no matter what it may be, no matter what form of counsel it is, it's somebody that has it. You know, you get counsel concerning, herbs and things of that nature, concerning getting healed, holistic advice, marriage advice, all kind of stuff, but the people have to be proven. This is why when they got ready to pick the deacons out, they said, let these first be proven. That means they have to actually be, you know, able to fit the bill. They got to be able to say, okay, look, they can do this. Like we need to know that they've been tested enough to weather the storm. And that's the catch. I mean, they weren't just picking random deacons. They said, let them first be proven. And so that means that they had to know that they had a lifestyle that mirrors what it is that they're trying to do. One of them was to rule their own house well, and the other one was to make sure that it was with all gravity and make sure that they was actually not given to certain things. And one of the things was given too much wine. It was like certain qualification they were looking for with this actual deacon. And I say this because these were the guys that was going to be set there to serve tables and to be, a counselor unto the people, where the apostles can be given into more fast and prayer and to more deeper things of the ministry. And so they're not going to just throw you to the wolf to know anybody. But when you're dealing with the world, they say enough is okay. Just, you know, don't take all that. But it does take that. It does take those that can actually, make you be accountable to the things that they're seeing, that you have a flaw with, or anything in general. And you're not going to get that from somebody that's winging it, or somebody that's not as strict as what you may see when you start reading Torah, because they're going to start bending and cutting corners and making you think that you don't have to do but so much, but it doesn't work like that. Like the Most High is going to perfect the whole man, but to get that, you have to be challenged. Like you have to feel comfortable putting yourself around those that can challenge you. I mean that in a positive way that can actually show you error in the error of your ways. Those actually show you ways that you can improve in, but you can't get it looking for ones where they're not as sharp as you and you're the sharpest one all the time. Like it's like the pride has to go. You have to be comfortable being around people that know light years more than you, that know a whole bunch that can actually help you come up. Like you can't get nothing from something that's not there. Like a well that's all dried up, there's no water left. So like you got to make sure someone there that's fruitful and they actually have they actually have the lifestyle and the track record to actually show that they're living the lifestyle that you're looking for, that you're seeking this particular information out from, or in general. I mean, it's why it talks about the elders and things of that nature. You have to be set up where you can actually make sure that once you get around, they're gonna start seeing stuff and start witnessing things that you may not be aware of, and then calling you out on it. And you can't get that type of critique. No one can actually criticize you in a positive way like that without you being in the midst of ones that can actually, shine a light on flaws. And that's just usually how you get perfected, when people start showing you things that you need to actually improve. And a lot of things may not be a big deal at the moment, but it turns into a big deal later. That's why I talked about, the small fox that spoiled the vine. Is like a little leaven, leaven the whole lump. So little things turn into big things, but they'll point these little things out. And then you'll begin to say, okay, man, I see this, I see that. But when you're always the smartest one in the room, there's no one there to challenge you and to help you grow. And so to get growth, you have to be around those that are wiser than you. And that's dealing with with that right there. That's a lot that you can actually pull out there. Anybody want to speak on that 11 and 14, where there no counsel, the people fail?
I have this reminds me of like a scripture, like you can't dwell with like the unrighteous, like the wise can't deal with the unrighteous, something like that. If I'm not mistaken.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it is true. It makes me think about there's another proverb scripture that goes into details like that, that talks about if you want to be wise, hang around people that are wise also, paraphrasing it. So you're right. Because I mean, they don't have nothing. I mean, the unrighteous is going to wind up giving you faulty counsel. If that's who you're hanging around on a regular basis, and you start getting information from them, at some point you're going to wind up going, in the wrong direction from what the Most High wants you to go in. Let's go to Exodus 18.
I
13,
wanted to
15.
say something.
Go
If
ahead,
that's
Touche,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
you can always talk. I don't see
Yeah,
hands.
I wanted somebody to talk. Yeah, you go
Okay.
ahead.
I was thinking of also it kind of holds you accountable, because what if you are that wise counsel to somebody else? Like, the Most High has put you in a place for people to come to and to talk to, and how can you give that wise counsel if you ain't seeking the Most High like you should, or if you ain't in your rightful position and locking in like you're supposed to. And I don't know, it just made me think of that. Like, you are also that wise counsel. You are also supposed to be that wise counsel. So it kind of holds you accountable. Like, it held me accountable, because I know I have moments where I be like, dang, I'm gonna shut up because I don't know what to say. I'm gonna be quiet because I don't want to say something that's not what you told me to say. And it's just like I'm leaning on my own understanding. So I don't know. That's just what I was thinking of.
That was good.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. You
It's something to
definitely
think
need it.
about.
Mhm.
Are you putting yourself in position to be that wise counsel? That's true.
Mhm. Yeah, it definitely made me think about Joshua and Moses when the Most High appeared to them in the tent. Joshua was right there. You know what I'm saying? He was right there. And when the time came for him to actually lead, he was already familiar with the presence of the Most High. He grew up around the presence of the Most High, so he was able to do it the right way. That's why he was able to do it righteously, because he had a Moses. He had somebody that actually showed him how to do it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times we have, like you say, it can be the wrong leaders. Like when you talk about ones RJ mentioned of wickedness, those that are unrighteous, I mean, they can lead you in the wrong direction. And you start growing up under that counsel, and then you start, showing weakness. But when you're around somebody that's righteous and you actually, you've seen these examples, it take a long time. That's why they was big on training back in the days. I mean, it was always big on training and being up under some type of leadership that actually knew the Most High versus actually winging it. Like you see all these random churches now, it's
Right.
like people are just making up rules as they go. But if they actually just deal with the Torah alone, they won't have to worry about making up all these rules. But they're making up. Every church has what they believe. Somebody.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
Oh, I was gonna say that the Most High never intended for us to be alone from the beginning, and the way that He structured the nation of Israel, He structured it in a way that everything had to function with someone else involved. Whether we relied on the priest, whether the priest relied on us, whether we talk about the family unit, everything was structured. Even the keeping the feast days, it's a commandment that we do it with other people. So the Most High never intended for us to be alone. And when we're alone, it leaves room for us to move off our own personal emotion and think ourselves wise. And we end up making a decision that can lead us to death. But when we are operating with the counsel of others, then we're able to make wise decisions.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's where that starts from. I mean, because that's what's going to actually make you be, up on your, what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, you're not going to tighten up without somebody putting some kind of fire on you at some point in time. Those type of examples is what's helpful. You know what I'm saying? People listening in, they hear that. And like you say, especially big things, like, there's a lot of things that people do. Should be always somebody that you can go to when you get ready to make major big decisions. These decisions could be major purchases. They can be, of course, go and prayer stuff, but at the same time, the Most High, just like the Doc was saying, is not calling us to be alone. So even though you pray, like that's not enough sometimes. Sometimes, you have to go get that counsel also because, you pray and you can say, okay, if we go off of that only, then nobody needs nobody. But you have to have somebody, prayer will give you a mind frame to actually say, okay, look, this is what I need to seek out to get more information on this. But we just use prayer only, and then that's all we do, and we never seek any counsel. That's being self-righteous at that point. And it's subtle because the person say, well, I pray and I know I hear from the Most High, but that with that method, then people can skip over everything. The wife can say she praying here and then don't want to be led by the husband. Like you can use that thing. It's a never-ending trickle effect. So it can't be utilized like that. You have to actually do all things decent and in order. Like though people pray, yet they have elders that are set up in the congregation. Yet they have mores that are set up that actually are doing certain things. I'm sure the people were praying, but yet they had the priesthood. They couldn't just go do what the priests were doing. Like that was some type of order. And that's the thing, you can't pray and then skip and usurp authority and go above the order of the Most High just because you pray and hear from the Most High. These are things that you hear in the Christian church, where I hear from the Most High too. I pray, and that's pride. It kicks in because people are saying, just like he talked to you, he talked to me, but it doesn't mean anything when it comes to him. And you're saying, okay, look, he's no longer saying that now we're supposed to be a tribal people because everybody can pray individually. That like it goes against the order of everything. And so even though we can pray and hear from the Most High, we still have people that we have to consult. The Most High deals with us through people. That's how he does. He's not going to just skip that because he knows that the flesh of people got to have people. It's like you'll be beside yourself if just every time you pray and that was it, and then you just go for nobody else but you. It's like the Most High doesn't work that way. You can be and said, okay, I thought I heard this, even though you may have felt that. It's not going to go against the order. Like you got to think about it. Everything is set up for a reason. There's no prayer that can trump Torah. I mean, like it's just so many ways that you can say, okay, look, how do we put this thing in its proper perspective? Well, you have to actually seek it out. You have to seek out, like if you have a heart for the Most High and a heart after the Most High, you're going to seek wise counsel. You're going to seek out a way that you can actually go that's not going to take you astray. Like when it's time to get spouses, things of that nature, those are big things. That's something big that you're doing. Like these people need to come before the elders or something. You need to come before the congregation or somebody that's appointed that can say, okay, look, it can't just be, and this is for ones that don't have, fathers and things of that nature that can say, okay, look, they're in the truth and that they're hearing from the Most High and they can say, okay, I understand how this goes. But then ones that don't, that's when they seek out those elders. But when you do, that's where the fatherly advice comes in at. Of course, your mother advice also, but when we deal with it from Torah, there are things that he has to agree on when it comes to this that's actually in Torah, that's actually recorded. I mean, out of the respect of wisdom, of course, he'll have his Esau with him, but at the same time, certain things she may say, he may just be, no, look, this ain't the one. We can't roll with it. And that's when that counsel comes in, when you say, okay, look, I have counsel, but am I submitted to it? Will I yield to the counsel? So it has to be somebody that you trust enough to yield and to say, okay, look, I trust their judgment. That's where that comes in at with the wise counsel. Still in that vein, if anybody else want to speak on that, wise counsel or anything concerning numbers 11:16 through 25, and numbers 11:14, basically. Now we'll push it on to Exodus 18:13 through 27.
Shemot 18, verse 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moshe sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moshe from the morning until the evening. And when Moshe's father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that you do to the people? Why sit you yourself alone, and all the people stand by you from morning until evening? And Moshe said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of Elohim. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another. And I do make them know the statutes of Elohim in his Torah. And Moshe's father-in-law said unto him, the thing you do is not good. You will surely wear away, both you and this people that is with you. But this thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to perform it yourself alone. Hearken now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and Elohim shall be with you. Be for the people toward Elohim, that ye may bring the causes unto Elohim. And you shall teach them ordinance in Torah, and shall show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, you shall provide out of all the people able men, such as fear Elohim, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto you, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for yourself, and they shall bear the burden with you. If you shall do this thing, and Elohim command you so, then you shall be able to endure. And all the people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moshe hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. And Moshe chose able men out of all the Yashrael, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons. The hard causes they brought into Moshe, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moshe let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land.
When you get to verse 19, this is when Jethro says, hearken now unto my voice, and I will give you counsel. And you see that in this thing. And when you go to 24, in the 24th verse, it says, so Moshe hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law. So he had to actually submit to it. I mean, so the whole key thing is he could have easily just said, I've been talking to the Most High all this time. At no point did this diminish the fact that, you know what I'm saying, Moshe was able to hear from the Most High. It wasn't that he couldn't hear from the Most High. It's why it talks about laying aside every sin and weight that does so easily beset us. That's a weight. That was the actual weight, and it was a burden unto Moshe. But, you know, since he had his father-in-law right there for counsel, it shows that he allowed him to give him the information. He implemented his information, and it made his life easy. He could have kept doing it that way until he burnt out. Wasn't that he was going to go to hell. It's just that it would just burnt him out. But it wasn't wise to keep going in that direction. Then, you know, when there's an easier way. I mean, so when you look at that, I mean, with that concept being you know, applied to his life, it made it where he was able to not feel inferior to these guys and actually say, look, okay, y'all do those things that are just basic, but when it's a major issue, you know, hey, especially if it's something that's going to be, you know, life or death, you know, bring it to me. But if it wasn't major, they didn't bother him. That way he was able to do more things, probably had more time to spend with the Most High and do some things he wanted to do, you know, that was separate from that. But it was like his life was 24/7. That's all he was given until not ministry alone, but just issues. Like, it's got to be more to ministry than just issues and people got going on. It was some more stuff the Most High probably wanted him to do, getting ready for the promised land or something. He couldn't do that. Not that he was going to go in, but get ready to get them situated so they can actually be ready to go that way. But, you know, with all these different distractions coming up on a regular basis, that's what they turned into. He had somebody to come and just mediate on his behalf. And so this is what the Most High does. He makes it easier, but you got to yield to it. Like, he didn't have to do it, but it would have made his life harder if he wouldn't have listened to him. Anybody want to speak on that? On that excerpt we just read about Jethro and Moshe and giving him instruction to him.
it makes me think of like the people who be like, "Oh, Most High ain't tell me that. Like he ain't tell me that. Like he could have easily did that." And I was just thinking about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can either get out of it, but it's gonna make your way harder. That's the thing. So the whole key is, I mean, you just want to make sure that you're not going against the grain. Like, I mean, you shouldn't want life to be hard. Life is going to be very difficult when you don't know. It could be something as simple as go sharpen your axe. I mean, you can get more trees cut down in less time, but you can keep on hitting it with the axe you got. Of course, it'll work, but you're going to use more energy using the one that's not sharp versus the one that's sharpened. It's just wise counsel. What it is these things sometimes are not sins. It's just the fact that you want to make sure your way is made easier rather than hard. You don't want to have a difficult way to go when you don't have to have one. Move on
So I
to.
was putting in the chat, listen to the ones that came before us.
That's right. That's right. You definitely want to do that. You know what I'm saying? You're saying those that paved the way. I mean, you got to listen. I mean, a lot of times people don't because they figure, they got it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what you have now. And it's a fallen generation now. Very few that have counsel that they give into. They just make the mistakes. And most of the time, people are normally teaching bought sense is what I call it. You know what I'm saying? Behavior that they done things they shouldn't have done. So then now they're telling them by their mistakes, but they could have been helped before they got to those
Right.
mistakes if they had counsel around them. Here we're just talking about, once again, more counsel, but we're dealing with the elders here.
Right. So,
Yeah, I'm ready.
right. Bid Midbar, Numbers 11:16 through 25. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, gather unto me
Did
seven.
you start up that? Okay, go ahead. You good.
And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Yashrael, whom you know to be the elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them into the tabernacle of the assembly, that they may stand there with you. And I will come down and talk with you there, and I will take of the rock which is upon you, and will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you shall not bear it yourself alone.
This is the instructions here. This is what I want to show that, like, when you have this setup going on, people are just not going to be coming any kind of way. They can't give counsel that Moshe would be given without having the mind of Moshe, without having the actual ways in which he would do things, not knowing how he would actually operate. Like, they have to have a kindred ruach in order to do this. This isn't just no anybody. And so when you see all this is all taking place. Like, they pretty much got to be ordained to do this work. That's what I'm saying. It ain't just no anybody that's doing it. Like, he's just not pointing out, like, you'll see people. Let me pick somebody. We got these people on the board, haven't went through nothing, no type of scrutiny or anything. You don't know anything about them, whether or not they're stand-up people, whether or not they, just don't know nothing about them. And they over some type of board, and, dealing with, religion, and you don't know who these people are. And they're just there because of time. Like, the Most High doesn't deal with, when he deal with elders, it's not always the oldest one. It doesn't work like that. Like, it's gonna be the one that has the ruach to do the right thing in the Most High. And now, don't get me wrong, the script does go back and it gets into gray hair and different things, but there are some old fools out here. There are people that's been out here for a long time, that's been around, but they're foolish in their ways. They don't have a ruach to give wise counsel. And knowing that, that's normally because most of the time people that you see out here now, they're actually put in place based upon status and stuff like that, whether it be educational status, whatever they may have. And the Most High is not against that, but what he is against is that you use that to overshadow the fact that this person is closer to the Most High and have the wisdom of the Most High. This one may have this particular degree, where the Most High is not going to just automatically pick the one with the degree and he's dumb concerning the things of the Most High. Like, you have to actually have a certain level of wisdom. Like, the ruach of the Most High has to be there. And if you don't have that, you just got head knowledge. Knowledge puffs up. I mean, it's not going to be enough because most of the time, that's what you're going to keep relying on. But when you have both of them, you have the information, and then you're well learned in the things of the Most High, and you have the ruach of the Most High. Well, at that point, you're going to weigh them against one another. You may say, "Well, I know it says this, but this doesn't seem to be expedient unto you." even though this is lawful, this isn't good for you. I'm not gonna give you this information. Like the script said, all things are lawful, but they're not expedient. That's the thing. So just because you can do something, that means that it's for you. The Most High gave us a dietary law, but some people may not be fit to eat some of the things that are on this dietary law, even though he gave it to us. It's not a sin. But the thing is, like, if you stop there, then you're saying, okay, look, I'm just gonna do everything he said I could do, no matter what. That's not real true wisdom in itself. It's okay. Like, you're not gonna, like, say, be punished or anything for it. But if it's something going on, especially knowing that we're in Babylon and your system is not lining up with something that is saying that you can't eat, and you're actually rejecting it, then it may be wise to step away from that and take some type of herb or something to get your body where it needs to be. And maybe you can go back to that. Maybe you cannot. But the thing is, like, we have to use a level of wisdom, but that wisdom can't be read in the Torah, because the Torah told you eat it all. Like, but it's not going against the Torah.
Right.
It's saying that just because you can eat it all doesn't mean you're required to eat it all.
Right.
Just don't eat what he said, don't eat. And that's the thing, like, that's wisdom. But but you're not gonna get that from somebody saying that's gun ho saying, I don't care, the Torah said this, I'm gonna keep on eating it. And so at some point, when do you actually not do inventory on your body and how it responds to things? Like, certain things make you feel certain ways. You can eat certain veggies or certain fruits and things like that mixed with a balanced meal. You may feel great. You may eat something that was totally greasy, that's on the dietary law with nothing else to it but that, and feel sluggish, and it'll clog up your arteries. So it's like, not coming against things that he said that we can't eat, but I'm coming against doing them in ignorance when it comes to a point where you don't balance things out. Like, too much of anything can wind up being a burden on you. Like, you have to have a balanced diet across the board, not just food-wise, but also the way you do things in general and the way you entertain certain things, the way the way that your life is spaced out. There should be some type of balance mixed with certain things, prayer, fasting, just certain things, reading of the word, just the way you carry yourself as a whole. But you got something,
So 19, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You shall not eat one day, nor 2 days. No, 18. All right, it says, and you said, and say unto the people, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and you shall eat flesh. For you have wept in the ears of Yahuwah, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Mitzrayim. Therefore Yahuwah will give you flesh, and you shall eat. You shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, nor 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a month, until it come out of your nostrils, and it be loathsome unto you, because that you have despised Yahuwah, which is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why came we forth out of Mitzrayim? And Moshe said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and you have said, I will give them flesh, that they may eat a whole month. Shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them to suffice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to suffice them? And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, is Yahuwah's hand waxed short? You shall see now whether my word shall come to pass unto you or not. And Moshe went out and told the people the words of Yahuwah, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And Yahuwah came down in the cloud, and spoke unto them, and it took of the Ruach that was upon him, and gave unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass that when the Ruach rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease.
You see that? So and guess what else? Moshe, the same thing. So they had to have his Ruach to do this work. So with them having this Ruach, it just shows. But when you see this as a whole, even looking into this concept, it's like you have the actual resources, and you have the source. Moses was looking at the resources. He was looking at whatever it is that, can be out there as it available. There's enough resources. Most times, like, I am the source. Like, don't you know I call for, light out of the midst of darkness. When I said, now let there be light. So whatever it is, I'm going to do it. Like, he's not, like, this is why you see Mashiach implementing this same thing. When you actually take the 2 fish and you actually multiply them after he blessed them to the Most High. And so the same one is going to perform what they need. Like, it's never going to be a shortage. Like, it's always going to be a supply of what you need, no matter what. So he didn't need to look at, all he needs to know is whether or not he trusts the Most High, not where it's going to come from, because he's going to provide the way no matter what. But this shows once again that these guys, they actually had the Ruach. And the Ruach is what actually caused this. All this started with Moses agreeing with actually implementing this plan so they can actually be more successful into spreading out this work, delegating this power rather than in this authority and leadership, rather than Moses trying to do it all. So just wanted to kind of, get deeper into what we looked at earlier, that kind of just showed that it didn't just end with picking them. Like the Most High, he actually showed that, they was gonna go all the way, and they prophesied and did not cease. So they did everything they need to do. They were fully equipped to do the work to actually take up the, some of the slack for Moses. Anybody want to comment on that? If not, we move to Psalms 91.
Tehillim 91:1. He who dwells in the secret place of El Elyon shall abide under the shadow of El Shaddai.
And this is once again, and I think I got the secret going back to how did she pronounce it? She said it was Sitar? Yeah,
I said Tehillim.
Sitar.
I'm not sure. How you
How do you
pronounce
pronounce it
it?
again, Leah? Sitar, okay.
Tehillim.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's gonna be yeah. And that's where I got that from, that actual in that one. Now I want to look at some more of it, but I just wanted to actually go into that. You can read a little bit more.
I will say of Yahuwah, he is my refuge and my fortress. My Elohim, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings shall you trust. His truth shall be your shield and buckler.
Okay, I just wanted to read a little bit of that. And I wanted to look at that just to show that when you see this, when you saying that you trust in Yahuwah, this is the thing, when it talks about trusting him, and it say also trusting and believing his prophets. So when you see that in these contexts, you know what I'm saying, you see these scriptures just showing that when you trust in Yahuwah, you can't just trust in Yahuwah on your own. When you get ready, you got to trust in Yahuwah, also trust in the order and the way in which he functions. This is where we come back to this counsel again. So a lot of people want their own personal straight out relationship with the Most High. Where in church they're saying that Jesus, what they're saying in church. But when you deal with the Most High, now when you look at it in Torah, like they're saying, okay, look, I got him. Like all I need is him. I don't need nothing else. But that's saying now you trust in him outside of his order. Like you can't just say you trust in him and then don't trust in the manner in which he do things. Just like I said earlier, like he even wants you to do these feast days. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff is based on the concept of getting together in actual fellowship and then coming together so we can actually sharpen one another. You don't do this on your own. Like the Most High didn't intend for a certain little mini group just to get off to themselves and say, okay, look, we speak to the Most High and I don't want to deal with nobody no matter what. He deals with people through people. And that's the reason, that's where prophecy come in at. He's not going to let you get it that way all the way by yourself, because he's not going to let that kind of pride kick in. You're going to miss something if you're not willing to fellowship at all. It has to be some desire to get together with those that actually have that same mind as you concerning the things of Torah. And I just wanted to go into that, just looking at like the secret place of the Most High. You're there, but you're not just there just to be just with him. Like you have to be with his people. You have to have a desire to be with his people, because this what this was all about. When you look at what we're reading, Moshe still between the living and the dead. He was always standing in the gap and interceding for the people at all times. This is why you see the serpent's head on the rod. Those that look up, what I'm saying, they would survive. Those that didn't look up, then they would get bitten and they would die. So it's like you just have to actually understand that he implements authority through his actual system that he has. We are tribal type people.
Devarim, chapter 1, verse 1 reads, these are the words which Moshe spoke unto all Yashrael on the side of the Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban and Shastaroth and Dizalha. Okay. There are 11 days journey from Koreb by the way of Mount Seir into Kadesh Barnea. And it came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first day of the month, that Moshe spoke unto the children of Yashrael, according to all that Yahuwah had given him in commandment unto them. After he had slain Sihon, the king of the Amorim or Amorites, which dwelled in Chesbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, which dwelled at Ashtaroth in, these words tear me up, Edrei, on the side of the Jordan in the land of Moab, began Moshe to declare this Torah, saying, Yahuwah Eloheinu spoken to us in Koreb, saying, ye have dwelt long enough in this mount. Turn you and take your journey and go to the mount of the Amorim, and into all the places nigh thereunto, in the plain, in the hills, and in the valley, and in the Negev, and by the seaside to the land of the Canaanite or Canaanites, I believe. Is that the Canaanite?
Yeah.
Kenanim,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
into Lebanon, and to the great river, the river Parah. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yahuwah swore 7 oaths unto your fathers, Abraham, Ishak, and Jacob, to give unto them and to their seed after them. And I spoke unto you at that time, saying, I am not able to bear you myself alone. Yahuwah Elohim has multiplied you, and behold, you are this day as the stars of heaven for multitude. Yahuwah Elohim your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are, and bless you as he has promised you. How can I myself bear your encumbrance and your burden and your strife? Take ye wise men and understand and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. And ye answered me and said, the thing which you have spoken is good for us to do. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over tens, and officers among your tribes.
Do 16, so, yeah.
And I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him.
Okay, and that's the thing, like when you look at this as a whole and it goes deeper, 13 is the key verse. Take you wise men and understanding and known among you, your tribes, and I'll make them rulers over you. And it's the thing, like he just not letting things just happen. Like the Most High doesn't just do things on a free fall. It's like everything has some type of order. There's some type of hierarchy system. Even the angels have them. There are angels that shine harder than the others. When you look up, when you get into angels, you'll see that. Like angels have different tasks. Like they're not all the same. I mean, and so you have to understand that when you're dealing with people, everybody's not going to be the same. Like everybody's not a king, everybody's not an elder, everybody's not a prophet. Like there are different areas that you're going to function in. But at the same time, we work together as a whole unit. But right here, once again, these men are going to judge, and this was going to happen. It's not going to be just everybody running around judging. There are certain judges he got pointed out. This is the order of the Most High. Like he does all things decent and in order. And when you see this, then this shows that this is how you serve the Most High. You can't serve the Most High in a personal relationship separate from the Most High's order and it be pleasing in his sight. That's not the way he designed things to be. Like for you to just be off in a corner and saying, okay, look, I just got him by myself. I'm keeping Torah. You can't keep Torah without the Ruach of Torah, without the spirit in which things supposed to be done. You could keep it, but it's not going to be done in its entirety. There's more to it than just the feast days and, not eating what he said don't eat and, the 10 Commandments. Like it's an actual spirit in which things are done. The Ruach, then the way things are done is done through unity, through the people and through the actual authority and the order of the Most High. And this is why you have this set up. Like you can't just bypass that and create your own method or your own way of doing things just because of the fact that you're saying, okay, look, I've read it. It's not enough just to read and say, look, I'm just going to keep the commandments. Like that's not enough. You have to actually be willing to function in the order of the Most High as a unit. And this is the desire to do things based on the Ruach of Torah, not based on what you think. Anything else is coming from a different religion, mainly Christianity that teaches all you need is Jesus, or whatever the case may be, whatever they're saying in there. It's like it's not leading back to the spirit of doing things in entirety for us, like through Torah and getting away from saying I can just be by myself. All I need is one other person and we roll. That's not the script. Like when you see that stuff, that's nothing in Torah show, but that was only 2 people doing everything and they never had nobody else. I mean, it's just it's madness when you look at that, but that's what people are gravitating toward because a lot of them they're hurt through certain ministries. They've been hurt in church, whether it be in Christianity or in the way of doing things in Torah. You got certain ones may be offended, and they just picked out who they're gonna deal with, and that's it. But that's not the Most High. Like he's calling us to be a light and to be a witness. You can't just get off to yourself based upon the fact that you had some disagreement or some other type of conflict going with somebody that you know that's in the truth, and now you're trying to X everybody out because you see somebody that's not going to offend you. I mean, that's not how that works. You can't run off into a corner. Like you still got to deal with the Most High people, those that he's telling you to deal with. And his number not going to just be one person. Anybody want to chime in? So Proverbs 15:22.
All right. Mishley 15, verse 2,
22.
22. Okay, should read the wrong thing.
Oh, you good.
Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counsels, they are established.
That's it. I mean, so when you have purposes, it actually, it's actually fulfilled through counsel. Like you can't just don't have counsel. Like that's what it is. You're trying to actually get it to a point where whatever this is that you're trying to accomplish needs to be accomplished through the multitude of counsels at certain times. Like it's not that you gotta have them for everything you do, but you need an order set up that goes back to that order. Like when Moshe began to tell them those that have a small thing, they'll do these things. And if it's something big, okay, now, you need to seek out a higher level of knowledge or a higher level of someone that can actually break it down, where you can actually get it, on a level that's not just, where a child can understand it. Sometimes it need to be more complicated, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you'll have to bring in somebody that's actually able to break it down like a puzzle where you can understand it more and it's not just basic. But when it's not like that, he'll have certain ones that are there that are just people you can just talk to in general that may not even have a title that's around for counsel that can actually help you sometime in basic stuff that's not a big deal, but they have to be righteous. They have to be those that have the Ruach of the Most High, because there are certain different ones that actually may not seem to be teachers or whatever the case may be, but they may have advice on what you're trying to accomplish because they've accomplished that. Simple as what they did when they went to develop some land, anything. And they'll say how all they had to do, but whether or not you need to go get it sometimes, even though you got the details, you may need to go to a higher level to an elder, say, look, even though they gave you the information on what happened when you do get it, now it's not a good time for you to go get it. Or whatever the case may be. So it's like you just have to, set these, these certain boundary lines up so you can know, what guidelines to be in and what not to be in. Other than that, there's no help. Like you can't just do it by yourself. There has to be some help along the way, and that help comes through wise counsel. That's going to actually help your purpose be fulfilled based on that concept.
Mhm.
24, 3-7.
Mishley 24, verse 3. Through wisdom is a house built, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong, yea, a man of knowledge increases strength. For by counsel you shall make your war, in the multitude of counsel there is safety. Wisdom is too high for a fool, he opens not his mouth in the gate.
When you see this here, you understand that the wisdom is a house built, and that's beyond a physical house. That's dealing with whatever it is that you're trying to build in general, like that you can actually use this house to paraphrase what you're trying to prosper in, what you're trying to actually build in general for yourself as a whole. It can be a certain level of character within you. It can be a business. It can be anything. But we understand the basic concept when it said, what man builds a house without first counting up the cost. So it's like, that's anything. Like you're about to get involved in something, you don't even know what all it entails. You don't even know the details of it. And then once you get involved in it, you get to a point where in the other situation of counting up the cost, you run out of money, or in this other level, you run out of resources, energy, and you run out of the manpower to accomplish what you need because you was just an idea, but you didn't sit down and make it plain and write it down where you can actually see what it takes to actually get to the next level of this. So, but you have to understand that once again, we're dealing with wise counsel. If you don't have wise counsel, then there's no safety. Most of the time, there's going to be a situation where you're going to feel that you're vulnerable. And that's because you lack the information. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Like they don't have the knowledge. This is why you hear the apostles say about record that you have a zeal for Yahuwah, but not according to knowledge. Like people, they have this desire to actually get close to the Most High, this impression they feel it on their heart, or however they want to say it, or they feel it in their ruach, but they don't have the right knowledge. So they're moving through religious ignorance most of the time, just doing things that they feel like it's a good thing. That's why you have to understand that your heart can deceive you. Like your heart has to be lined up with the things of the Most High. And to do that, you have to actually, apply his word on a regular basis and get involved in the things of him so it can be a part of who you are. like what you entertain the most and what you deal with the most gets in your subconscious, and this is what begins to develop you as a person. Like even you saying this doesn't affect me, it's going to affect you at some point if you have a imbalanced diet of things that you're watching, things that you're doing, and it's like borderline stuff is going to at some point come out at some point. Like so, you have to actually monitor and do inventory on yourself and what you're doing, and that goes for not food alone, but just for anything that you're entertaining, like what your eye gates are seeing, what your ear gates are hearing, all these different things. And if you don't, what you're doing is what you're making yourself up with. This is you're eating this like on a regular basis. If you can look at this in the aspect of when you eat, whatever it is that you eat, you become that. Like if you're eating garbage, then you become that. Like it begins to corrupt you. And if you're entertaining garbage on a regular basis, it begins to warp your understanding in your mind. It begins to develop a certain dysfunction inside you. Like your character begins to be flawed because of the fact that you're feeding it this mess that you shouldn't be feeding it. So, and this would come through counsel. I mean, like there's no safety when you're actually abandoning the ways of the Most High and implementing the ways of the world. Like it doesn't help. It's moving backwards. We can move along. Psalms 133 is only 3 verses in that.
Tehillim 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in Yahweh. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Sherman, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there Yahuwah commanded the blessing, even life forevermore.
That's right. Look up that word Yakad for me, y'all. Somebody. Yachad. I know what it is, what we say in the English term, but I want to see what it says, outside of just the one word it usually be. Like in your King James Version, it's going to say unity. We understand that, but it's a little bit more.
Together or united.
Unity, one with Yahuwah and one with the brother.
That's what I was trying to get with. That's what I was looking for, the one with Yahuwah and one with the brother. That's right. That's the type of unity it's talking about there as a whole. I mean, like that, when you look at, when they said that as a whole, when you see that brethren, it's not just talking about random cats. I mean, it's talking about ones that's actually in the Most High. And this is what you have right here. You see a precious thing that's going on. It's showing how this all ran down Aaron's beard all the way to his apron being just like that. It was to this concept. Go to 1 Samuel 18. Just laying the foundation here to show the importance of unity and being able to count on others rather than just yourself. I mean, it's going to be to a point where you're going to run out of energy, you're going to run out of ambition. And when it gets to that point, who is going to encourage you? And you can say, oh, the Most High encouraged me, I just pray. But you got people, sometimes people have to tell people they need to go pray because they know to go pray, but they don't feel like it. Like, so this is where this encouragement comes in. And this is when you call this particular one that you're dealing with on a regular basis that's actually in the same thing that you're in for the truth, and you call and say, okay, look, I'm going through this, but you can't do that if you're doing it on your own, if there's no one else that you trust. So I'm ready. 1 Samuel 18, 1-4, Dawid and Jonathan.
And it came to pass when he had made an end of speaking unto El Shaul, that the soul of Jehonathan was knit with the soul of Dawid, and Jehonathan loved him as his own soul. And Shaul took him that day, and would let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jehonathan and David cut a covenant because he loved him as his own soul.
You see that right there? You see this concept is just showing, this is just expressing brotherly love. That's all this is expressing. It's somebody that I trust just as if I would trust myself. This is just how much I trust this individual. And this is like not a blind scenario. This is someone that he's fond of that's actually, concerning the Most High as a whole. Like he's one of these brothers that we just read about. I mean, they dwelling together. You know what I'm saying? They dwelling together in your car. That's what's going on there. Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David. Dawid in his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his belt.
It's showing that's actually true love there. You see that. So Ecclesiastes 4 and 12. Trying to write that one down. Okay. Let's just go, I got 4 and 12. Let's start at 9.
Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falls, for he has not another to help him up. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And if one prevails against him, two shall withstand him, and the threefold cord is not quickly broken.
When you see this again, it's just once again saying, don't try to be an island. Don't try to do it on your own. Like, and this is once again saying, even though this is saying two, well, you know that the scripture talks about saying one can chase 1,000 and two can put 10,000 to flight. And so it's always better to not be alone, because when you're alone, this is when the enemy tries to come up against you and try to cause all type of turmoil in your mind and try to cause you to, put you in a mode to be discouraged rather than encouraged. And so when you have someone that you can lean on, this is when this begin to come in, when you understand that, okay, now I feel the strength and energy of the Most High, even though I know I may have had it. At this point, you're at a vulnerable state. So if you're at a vulnerable state, then you're not going to be in bad shape when it comes down to people that you're trying to deal with for help, because the fact that you know that you can't do it by yourself and you got this person there for that very same cause. Let's go to James 5, 13 through 16.
Right. Yaakov 5, 13 through 16. Is there any among you afflicted? Let him pray. Is any merry? Let him sing songs. Is any sick among you? Let him call for the elders of the called out assembly, and let them pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of Yahuwah. And the prayer of faith shall save the sick, and Yahuwah shall raise him up. And if he has committed sins, they shall be forgiven him. Confess your faults one to another, and pray one for another, that you may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much.
This is once again showing unity. The sick person didn't just pray. They had to go seek out those that were there, the elders of the call out assembly. I mean, they could have just said, hey, look, I know the Most High, I could pray. Well, they probably been praying and it's not working. I'm sure they've been asking, hey, I need them to communicating in some form to the Most High to get help. But that's not the way he do it. He's using people at this point. Not that you can't pray and get help, but this here just showing if there is someone and you haven't got it, then you need to take it to the next level. You need to go and now you need to seek out the call out assembly. And this is the order of the Most High. When they lay hands on you, the prayer of faith is going to heal you based on this concept. Let's go to Acts 6, 1 through 7.
Right. Acts 6, verse 1. And in those days, when the number of Talmidim, or disciples, was multiplied, there arose a murmuring of the Grecians, Yavanim, against the Ibrians, or the Grecians against the Hebrews,
that's right.
because their widows were neglected in the daily ministration. Then the 12 called the multitude of the disciples unto them and said, It is not reason that we should leave the word of Elohim and serve tables. Wherefore, brethren, look ye out among you 7 men of honest report, full of the Ruach Yahuwah and wisdom, whom we may appoint over this business. But we will give ourselves continually to prayer and to the ministry of the word. And the same pleased the whole multitude, and they chose Stephen, a man full of faith and of the Ruach HaKodesh, and Philip and Prochorus and Nicanor and Timon and Parmenas and Nicholas, a proselyte of Antioch, whom they set before the apostles. And when they had prayed, they laid their hands on them. And the word of Elohim increased, and the number of the disciples multiplied in Jerusalem greatly. And a great company of the priests were obedient to the faith.
Okay, and this just shows, when you see this right here as a whole, that was an effect that came forth. Saying when you look at this, you would assume that these company priests wasn't in the beginning. You know what I mean? So, and when you see this as a whole, they're not just coming out, they laid hands on them, and they actually had them once again ordained to do this work, similar to like it was with the Moshe situation. But in this situation here was that they was going to serve tables and serve where they're bickering at this point. the Grecians and the Hebrew women. It was going to actually be a mediator, not just for that, but to do everything else that had something to do with serving tables while the apostles go into prayer and fasting and deeper things of the ministry. But this is done through counsel. And this is what it is. And so all this had to be accepted. You know, it started one way and it actually implemented its way all the way on down. And so you see this concept. The Most High is always dealing with us as a group. He's never dealing with people alone, where it's always somebody that in these religious areas, you'll see people where one rises up and everybody's following one man. Like, I mean, that's not Torah. Like, it doesn't work that way because he has to be accountable to somebody. And so this happens when we see the multitude of counsel. So it's actually going to be certain ones, like you have ones that are giving counsel that may have to be checked by somebody else that give counsel because they may need to be reared back in. I mean, it's not nobody that's making it and then that's it. Like, it's always got to be somebody that's got to be able to say, you're in error. And that's the way the Most High operate. So Amos 3 and 7, you can read that. It's just one verse.
Surely Adonai Yahuwah will do nothing, but he reveals his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
And this is the thing. So this is always something like when there's someone that's in this day and time operating in the prophetic, if they're not in the office of the prophet, the Most High will reveal secrets unto them because they have a special way of getting the ear of the Most High. And it's something, and he'll reveal it to them in any type of manner, through dream, through vision, however, you know what I mean? Just through you may hear it through the Ruach, like whatever the case may be, he's going to show them what it is that they need to know. So Jeremiah 29, 4 through 11. We're going to go there. If you get it, you can start it out.
Jeremiah 29, verse 4. Thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, the Elohe of Yashrael, and to all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem into Babel. Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye women and beget sons and daughters, and take women for your sons, and give your daughters to men, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. And seek the peace of the city whether I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto El Yahuwah for it. For in the peace thereof shall you have peace. For thus says Yahuwah Sabaoth, the Elohe of Yashrael, that not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which you have caused to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, says Yahuwah.
So pause. Well, I want to go back to 8 here where it said, neither hearken to your dreams which ye caused to be dreamed. What he's saying is this is coming from your subconscious. Like, this ain't me. That's the thing. That's why when we deal with a dream, unless it's just showing you something that's truth, it can't trump Torah. Like, it can't. I mean, because he just said right here, like, and you see this, like, you can't just use these things as Torah. It has to be in alignment, in alignment with what you see going on with the Most High, or unless he's showing you something that is so. Like, it can't be questionable information. Go ahead. Oh, you're on 10 now.
For thus says Yahuwah, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babel, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you, and causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says Yahuwah, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end.
And we're leaving out with that as we get closer to closing, because this is when you see they say, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you, said Yahuwah. They're thoughts of shalom, not of evil, to give you an expected end. Well, you can't have an expected end without this system that's been implemented. The prophets, that's in the Torah, the wise counsel. Like, this is what actually brings you to that point. You don't just get there on your own. To function as a whole in Torah, then it's going to happen along the way as you begin to grow and seek out the order of the Most High. This is how you actually begin to be developed. So in closing, we'll go to Proverbs 3, 5 through 16.
Mishlei 3. Trust in El Yahuwah with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Be not wise in your own eyes. Fear Yahuwah and depart from evil. It should be health to your navel and marrow to your bones. Honor Yahuwah with your substance and with the first fruits of all your increase. So shall your barns be filled with plenty, and your presses shall burst out with new wine. My son, despise not the chastening of Yahuwah, neither be weary of his correction. For whom Yahuwah loves, he corrects, even as a father, the son in whom he delights.
Okay, when you see that as a whole, did you
Right.
keep on, keep on.
Happy is the man that finds wisdom and the man that gets understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof of fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things you can desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and her left hand riches than honor.
Okay, when you see this as a whole, this is just showing how you're totally equipped, telling you to depart from evil, to be not wise in your own eyes. If you're wise in your own eyes, you're going to go against the order of everything that we just talked about. You're going to say, look, I don't need the counselor because I know the Most High for myself. You're going to say, I don't need to worry about fellowship and I can just go do my own stuff and do my own thing. Like the Most High didn't call us to do our own thing. He called us to actually be with those that are precious like Ruach, that are actually precious like faith, that are actually there with the same system functioning even now like we should be. And so this is what you have in the conclusion of things, knowing that he's going to direct your path if you acknowledge him in all your ways. But you have to understand that if you're not doing that, then he's not going to direct your path. It's going to go back to you directing your path. You're going to start seeing things that you think is right. And like the word said, there's a way that seems right unto man, but the end of it is destruction. And so to do it based on the Most High's way, you have to actually understand that that's going to be great success in the midst of wise counsel, and it's also going to be deliverance that Yahuwah is going to bring because you came through the order of him. Like he's not going to tell you to trust his prophets or to believe his prophets, and they're going to lie to you. It's like he's going to have a system set up where you'll know the order of the Most High, because if you're seeking it, even throughout this whole Mishle book, it talks about that wisdom cries in the street. It talks about this all the time, so it's warning you to come that way so you can actually get this counsel and get the information and get the order of the Most High.